So Chevalier, which is this super dry comedy from Athena Rachel Tsangarai, who's a colleague of Yorgos Lanthimos. And this is basically a very, as I said, very, very dry satire about men and male interpersonal relations. It's described on the posters as a buddy movie without the buddies. It's a group of middle-aged men are together on a yachting trip in which they're doing sort of fishing and swimming and all that sort of stuff. And we begin with a sequence in which they're helping each other out of their wetsuits. And then later on, they start playing one of those parlor games. You know, if you're an animal, what kind of animal would you be? If you were a color, what kind of color would you be? If you were a sound, what kind of sound would you be? And inevitably, those games lead to bickering and argument. Oh, how can you possibly say that? I wouldn't be that. What a stupid thing. And then one of them says, well, anyway, it doesn't matter, because even if you win this game, it doesn't mean you're the best. I mean, the game is not to discover who's the best. So immediately they invent a game which is to discover who is the best on everything. So they then spend the rest of the trip essentially assessing everybody, which one of them is the best, and at the end they make a rule that at the end this with Chevalier's signet ring will be given to the person who is the best. They compare verbal dexterity, they compare hygiene, they compare hair loss, they compare bodybuilding, they take intimate photographs in which they compare. There is one brilliant section in which they have a speed race to who can most quickly assemble a flat packed bookshelf, which particularly tickled me, as you know, that flat packing is something that
not your strength.
Well, maybe not my strength, but it is weirdly my fetish. I will give me a flat pack and and an Allen key, and leave me alone for the rest of the day, because I will make that fold-away couch if it absolutely is the last thing I do.
Which it might be.
Which is one of the reasons I think that perhaps this film touched a nerve for me, because it's played with the straightest of straight faces. All the way through, it's that strange mixture of there are some things in it that are, laugh out loud funny, but mainly it's that kind of excruciatingly painful recognition of something that is, it's absurd, but it's not quite absurdist. It's being played straight, but it's close enough to something which you recognize as being a truth about competitiveness and rivalries and groups and organizational hierarchies. That, I mean, for some of it, I was wincing with recognition. I said very little laugh out loud, although there are a couple of moments that are actually laugh out loud funny, but precise and oddly savage, and yet with a kind of weird streak of something approaching empathetic tenderness underneath the black comedy. I liked it.
I thought you did.